You're listening to a Token Nerd Network podcast. 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Token Nerd Podcast. We ramble on about geeky things ranging from Batman to pop figures to Star Wars. I'm your host, Anthony Pettiford, and we have a special episode for you today. We will be celebrating the 20th anniversary of the original Harry Potter book, The Philosopher's Stone. Here today to talk with me will be Abbey Rymarczyk, a special friend of mine from the past.
I'm your girlfriend.
Apparently a current girlfriend of mine. I just get them all mixed up.
That's not kind.
Okay, and so I'm very sorry. I'm going to pay for that later.
It's fine.
Okay. But no, so we're going to sit down and, well, we are sitting down, but we're going to talk about Harry Potter because today, 20 years ago, J.K. Rowling, not J.K. Rowling herself, but it was the publisher. Yeah, it was.
Is it Penguin? I think it had a penguin on the back. You don't have to look it up. It's fine.
It's Bloomsbury.
Oh.
Bloomsbury
okay.
Publishing, and then Scholastic was American.
Oh.
Scholastic Book Fairs.
Yes, I remember. They had a big Hedwig.
Yeah.
The owl.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
At my Scholastic Book Fair, mine may have been fancier than yours.
Maybe. But no, so this is the fun part. So we are going to just talk Harry Potter. We'll tell you a little bit about how we kind of fell into liking this book and this franchise, which went from being a school novel to being a franchise, a movie franchise, then has its own spin-off world and its own online Pottermore, which is its online universe.
We will also talk about which houses we fall into.
I really wanted us to do one of those little quizzes right before we did this.
We don't have to because we know which houses we fall into.
That's true.
We can also talk about our Patronuses if you choose.
Ooh, look at you.
I
Yes.
know.
All right. But real briefly, for those of you who don't know what Harry Potter is a fantasy novel that was written by J.K. Rowling back in 1997. The series followed an abused orphan named Harry Potter who grew up underneath the stairs of his cruel aunt and uncle's house. He had a cousin, Dudley, who was also very cruel to him. And on Harry's 11th birthday, he found out that he was a wizard. And from there, he went on to Hogwarts, School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. And the franchise or series, it had 7 books, and each book followed 1 year of Harry's life.
I think the coolest part is that it's in tandem with Muggles. So we are Muggles. We don't have superpowers.
Correct. This is parallel to our world. It's not
it's in tandem. It's not a parallel universe. It's happening in the same universe as we're in. We just can't see it.
Yeah.
So you go through a door and you're suddenly in the wizarding world, but it's camouflaged by magic to Muggles.
Yeah. Well said. So anyway, this series went on. It ended up getting, like I said, a movie franchise, and the movie franchise went on to have 8 movies.
Yeah,
they split the last one.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that.
Neither do I. They split the last book, The Deathly Hallows, into 2 movies, and then they have a new spin-off franchise, which is going to be
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, but it was a single movie. But they are doing 3 spin-off movies, but that one was a single one-off.
Oh, it was?
Yes.
I thought it was going to end up being following him.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that they're doing 3 movies in separate parts of the wizarding world.
I like that better than... I thought we were going to follow...
I think this was the last movie that would be in North America.
They did say that, but I thought now we were going to follow Newt Salamander.
Oh, Newt Scamander.
Scamander, thank you. But no, so before we get into all of that, let's kind of briefly talk about how you found Harry Potter. Because when I found Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. You got the original one, which was Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Yes. So I grew up Irish dancing, and my dad also grew up playing the Irish bagpipes, which are called the uilleann pipes. And his teacher was from Ireland, and his wife was from England. And I was at his lesson while he was learning how to play the bagpipes, and she gave me Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Okay. So that's how I found the book.
Okay. Mine was pretty simple. I'm the child of a elementary school teacher, and when I read the first Harry Potter book, so it had to have been like 99, because all three, the first three were out by then, and so we read them like one after the other. So I had
to wait.
Yeah, I didn't hit the point of waiting yet. My mom, before we went to bed, she would read us like a chapter or two a night of Harry Potter. And I remember because it was, in my world, it wasn't Ron Weasley, it was Ron Wesley. Because when my mom read it, she did not like the way Weasley sounded, so she just said Wesley. And I remember going to school and arguing with people where they were like, well, it's Weasley. And I was like, no, it's a Wesley.
My mom also read them out loud to us, but I read ahead because...
Yeah, because of your personality.
My personality. And my younger sister is your age, so that makes sense. Mm-hmm. She read them out loud to Mary.
Yeah.
But Mary would fall asleep, and I would be like, no, I need that book. And I'd take the book and read it. But she said Hermione instead of Hermione.
Oh, say it again?
Hermione.
That is what my mom called her.
So my mom called her Hermione, not Hermione.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And also, my mom described her hair to be like my hair, big and unruly.
Yeah.
And Emma Watson's hair was only like that for like one movie.
Yeah, and then it was...
fine. Normal.
Treated.
It was like how my hair got when I learned how to do my hair.
Yeah. But they also never described her race.
No, they did not.
And so Harry Potter has released an 8th book, which was originally a play, but...
No, it was released... as a play.
And then it became a play.
Script, yeah.
Okay.
No, it was only a script.
Only a script.
Yeah.
But then they made the play. That's when they cast the Black Hermione.
Right, because it was a script.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just to be made into a play.
I got that. So I'm just saying, but then they made it a play.
No, it was a play.
Okay.
So it's a script for a play.
But then it hit stage. That's what I'm trying to say. Then it went to the stage.
Yes.
Okay.
It was written for the stage. No, hold on. It was on the stage, and then they published it for us to read.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
That's what I was trying to get.
Gotcha. And that's kind of what I was trying to say too. But no, they casted a Black Hermione. So a woman. Right. So I mean, fans went nuts. I mean, to a really cruel point, but that's what we expect from this world that we live in. I mean, people get really crappy about that kind of stuff, especially when you have an image of what characters look in your head. Because I'll be honest with you, the way I saw Harry Potter was not what Daniel Radcliffe ended up being.
Right.
He was, in my head, he looked like he did in the book cover. Like, his head was more rectangular.
Right.
And instead we got this kid whose head was round, and he just didn't look the same. Plus, his scar was never visible. Like,
right.
That was the thing about Harry Potter, is he had this
big,
like lightning bolt scar. And then in the movie, it was just nothing. Like, it became like the signature of his character, and then in the movies, it was nothing because you never saw it.
And I think that when you read a book, you kind of assign who you think the person is.
Uh-huh.
And you think of people you know, so you're going back in your brain and your schema, because I went to school for education, so you're looking back and you're thinking, oh, that person reminds me of. Mm-hmm. Like, I did not have any people from India in my schema. So Pravati and Padma Patel, the twins, I did not, like, those are very Indian names, but I had not thought of them as Indian.
Okay.
I just didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't think of Hermione as anybody, really. I didn't think of her race.
Oh, I saw them all as being mixed people.
Right.
I get what you're saying,
because that's your schema.
Yeah.
So, but for me, I didn't have any people from India in my life growing up. Mm-hmm. So I didn't think of them as possibly Indian, and then I saw them in saris, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But I didn't think of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting, because you and I both listened to the Star Wars book, Lost Stars, and they clearly describe the characters pretty well, but I always saw, I saw Thane, the main character of that book, even though they said he was pale and had red hair, I always saw him looking like me. And I always saw...
So I always thought...
Ciana looking like you.
Really?
Yeah.
But Ciana I saw as like a deep, dark, rich colored skin. We're going off on a tangent.
I know we are, but for some... Okay, so just to describe, you can be pale sometimes, but when I first met you, your skin was like... I don't know. The way they described it in the book is how I viewed you. So yeah,
right.
I attached that. So I get what you're saying by we see the characters being that way.
Right. And when it's a book, you get to leave it up to your own imagination.
Yeah. And then most of the time it goes to like an animated movie first, which I think might be the next step for this franchise. I don't think so. Not now, but I think in 10 years we'll see an animated Harry Potter movie.
Okay.
Like Pixar level animated.
No, I disagree.
Oh, well, so just so we can throw it out there so you guys know, there are 7 Harry Potter books, like we said, mainstream, that follow the main storyline, and that's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, also known as the Sorcerer's Stone, The Chamber of Secrets, that came out in 1998, The Prisoner of Azkaban, which came out in 1999, The Goblet of Fire, which was 2000, The Order of the Phoenix, which came out in 2003. So now we're hitting a gap where there was a book every year.
And then there was a 3-year waiting period.
Yeah, 3-year waiting period for the Goblet of Fire, or the Order of the Phoenix.
And I was in middle school, so that was a really long time to wait.
And then the Half-Blood Prince came out in 2005. And then there was the Deathly Hallows, which came in 2007.
Did we miss one?
Half-Blood Prince was 2005. Deathly Hallows was 7, no.
What was before Half-Blood Prince?
Order of the Phoenix.
When did that come out?
2003. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So it became this big gap, and I remember after reading Goblet or Azkaban and waiting for Goblet of Fire to come out, we actually went to my family was in Baltimore, Maryland, and we had gotten our tickets for Borders Books. And so while we were waiting in line, we went to a Borders Books in Baltimore, Maryland. And there we waited at this bookstore, and there were people dressed up in line for this book. And eventually it got to the point where, like most places, like how movie theaters, now you just walk up with your ticket. Before, you actually had to wait in line.
You had to wait in line for hours.
Yeah.
To buy the book.
They let it out midnight, and we got there at 11 o'clock. Sorry,
we ordered ours on Amazon. So Amazon was like new. And we found out about it, and I said, hey, Mom, if we want to get our book the day it comes out, we need to order it on Amazon. And it came before you got yours, because it came the day before that midnight release.
Really?
Yes.
What?
So so Amazon was like this newfangled thing, and I was like explaining this, and I was like, I think we'll get the book the day before. And we got the book the day before.
Wow.
And it was awesome.
So I just remember we got it. We went back to we were staying at a friend's house, and we went back to their house. And I remember going down, and we stayed in. They had a furnished basement, whatnot. And so we got home at like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, and we begged my mom to just read us like a chapter. And I remember that chapter being so dark compared to the rest of the book.
Which
series.
Book was it?
Goblet of Fire. It was when
it
Harry,
was dark, yeah.
Like, and it was the point because, and I'll even say for the movies too. But that's when the tone, because this book grew up with us,
right?
Because we were about the age of Harry Potter. Like when the movies came out, I grew up with Daniel Radcliffe and them. You grew up with them as characters because you had the books and everything,
right?
Hold on one second, because you knocked off the cord.
I didn't mean to. It's like.
No, I know.
There we go. Perfect.
We can't keep starting this over.
We're not going to start over. Keep going. We're good.
So...
I'm out of the light.
You want to get out of the light, yeah.
I know. I got out of the light halo.
Okay.
We're
so
good.
For those of you who aren't watching, we're filming and the sun's going down, so the lighting in the room has changed.
So we had to turn on the light.
Yeah, and so it's... Anyway, all that technical
stuff.
Now
I don't have a light halo.
No.
And I'm happy.
Okay.
Okay, and I can look at you.
And I can see you.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Keep going.
Okay, so, but no, it was the tone of the books changed. Harry Potter was very light, and then because we never really talked about death. In the Chamber of Azkaban the Chamber of Secrets and the Prisoner of Azkaban, There was a
We
talk of
did,
death, and the
yeah.
whole story is based around death, but it was never there. Like, I mean, we followed because you'd come across death in the other books,
Right.
whereas this one you were in the eyes of someone who was killed because you
Right.
were the groundskeeper.
Yeah,
And-
and then that whole chapter starts that way, and then Cedric.
And so it was the first time that we knew the purple person dying, because I guess in Chamber of Secrets no one died. They got petrified.
Somebody got killed.
Well, no.
Yeah, there was one student that was killed. Not just petrified. They looked at the snake
But
and died.
that was not in that they talked about it. It
Yeah,
wasn't
but there
in
was
that
a death. A death happened.
Yeah, 70 years ago.
And no. A death happened this time, and they almost sent all the students home.
Oh,
Right.
I guess I didn't remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Again, it's been a long time.
Yeah. So, but like I said, they took a big shift, and then it turned into the Order of Phoenix, which then followed the first 3 books were about Harry Potter, a boy who had a terrible life and then found magic and found this like new side of magic and family and things that he was missing in his life. And then
they didn't, like, in the background was that he had this destiny. And
Yeah.
that Voldemort was still out there.
Mhm.
But it didn't come to light, until the Chamber of Secrets, really.
Well, because for the most part, he was dead. Like, he was a specter almost.
I will say that in the Sorcerer's Stone, he's on the head of
Coil.
Of Coil. Yeah.
Coil.
Quirrell.
Yeah.
Quirrell. And he's on the head, and that is pretty dark and pretty scary.
I thought it was interesting. I wouldn't have said scary.
It's
it's freaky.
It's freaky because
and they did a good job showing that in the movie.
Right, but I thought that was pretty scary as a 3rd grader.
Yeah, no,
Again, there are some books they did get darker as time went on.
Yeah.
But that was a pretty dark topic for a 3rd grader.
No, I understand. And so going back to the idea of waiting for these books.
Right.
So while we were waiting for, I'm trying to think if, because it came out after 2011. So after Goblet of Fire came out is when the first Harry Potter movie came out.
Right.
Yes. And so then we hit a new level of J.K. Rowling wasn't just writing books. She was also she was
bringing them to life.
Yeah.
And they had some interesting director issues because Christopher Columbus directed the first 2. And then Dumbledore died.
Yes, the actor who played Dumbledore passed away.
Right.
And they casted a little bit more agile guy, which I think worked better because Dumbledore became more active. He wasn't just
Absolutely.
a character who was just a know-it-all.
Mm-hmm.
But so let's, because we could end up talking and walk our way through the whole story.
Okay.
So what was your favorite book? Not movie, but just a book. And it was
Prisoner of Azkaban.
Okay. But why? Why was
Sirius Black?
Is that the only reason?
Yes.
Okay.
Harry needed somebody.
And I agree. I also felt like he had the Weasleys though, and I know he needed some of his own.
Not enough. So when I look at it was not enough.
No, I understand.
I mean, he wasn't their kid, and they had too many kids, and they had too many mouths to feed anyway. So he always felt like just an extra.
Yeah.
And he had money, and he didn't know what to do with it really because he was 12.
Yeah.
And 12-year-olds don't know what to do with money. Like, he was richer than he had ever been.
Yeah.
And he never wanted to be a burden to anybody.
Yeah.
And Sirius Black was just his.
No, I agree. Which is why I still disagree with the fact that J.K. Rowling continued to take away from him and never. And in the last book, they were going, or in the, I think it was Half-Blood Prince, they were going to kill Mr. Weasley. But but J.K. Rowling decided that was too much because they had taken everything from Harry. And in Deathly Hallows, to be honest, she continued to take everything.
Well, but it was a war.
It was a war. I'm just saying, because it also, you understand that Harry's dad had friends, a core group of friends,
Right.
one of which betrayed them.
Right.
The other one was blamed for their deaths,
Right.
and the other was just there.
He wasn't just there. He
No.
was the reason why they became friends.
Yeah. Which was because it was Wormtail,
Padfoot,
and
Prong, and then I don't remember what Lupin would have been. He was a wolf.
Yeah. Loomis.
Loomis? I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Okay. But
Continue on.
so what my thing was, he had this group of friends who then came in and looked after him, and it was you'd always get that kind of uplift when they said, "Oh, I see your father in you," and it meant so much to Harry. And Lupin, who was,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Sirius was his own. Sirius was his godfather, but I
Right.
feel like Lupin was someone who actually was physically there all through the third book, and then even stepped in and would speak to him during the fifth book, and then he was there in the sixth book as well, and in Deathly Hallows. And my least favorite scene of that whole or part of that book is when Lupin found them. He sniffed them out because he still had the attributes of a wolf.
Right.
Found them and said, "I'm gonna come with you. I'll watch over you." I would have done that, and then Harry, because he had just had a baby, sends him off. But I love the fact that he was like, "I'll watch over you. Like that's my duty as a friend."
Yeah, but Lupin could never be his.
I'm not saying that. I was just saying
Because Lupin's a werewolf. So I know he had a baby and that was amazing, but I just don't think that Lupin was in a place to be, he was Harry's mentor maybe, but never in a place to be a father figure.
Yeah, okay. Well, okay. Mentor I'll run with because he ended up teaching, and if you're talking about signature moves, Harry's signature move is the Patronus spell, which he learned from Lupin.
Right.
And but in the Deathly Hallows, he kills. Lupin and Tonks both die.
Right.
Which I then go on to believe this never confirmed, but I'm pretty sure doesn't Harry raise Teddy, his son?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I am not big on Pottermore.
Okay.
I know a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I know my house and I know my Patronus, and that's about it.
Okay. So you said that your favorite book was Azkaban, and it was because Sirius Black was in it.
It was because Harry
Mm-hmm. Found
someone,
person.
had his person, and he came into his own.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't just figuring out the world anymore.
Yeah.
He had it figured out.
Okay. So my favorite, and I agreed for the longest time it was Prisoner of Azkaban, but I think as I got older was The Chamber of Secrets, which a lot of people say is their least favorite, but I remember it being like scary.
It was scary.
We talked about like
It was frightening.
yeah, Goblet of Fire was dark, and I want to define it. It got darker, but like Chamber of Secrets was scary because there was something in the school, and we've come to believe that Dumbledore, McGonagall, even Snape, all the professors had control. Like if something bad happened, they would show up, and it would be okay.
But they didn't.
But it wasn't even that. It was the fact that they were scared. Something was happening, and they were also scared.
Right. I think the thing I didn't like about Chamber of Secrets was that Ginny Weasley was such a big character, and I hate her. I hate her.
No, I don't like her either.
I don't know how they ended up together. I don't know how.
Apparently, J.K. Rowling doesn't either.
It was bad.
She even regrets
It was
doing
bad planning.
But-
That said, if she was not the catalyst, if we had introduced Luna Lovegood, then that would have made a lot more sense to me.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, but I think now I think about it, Harry falling in love with Luna would have made more sense because it was the two children who had seen death.
Right.
But anyway, so for me it was the Chamber of Secrets because there was an actual mystery to it, but we also got introduced to it expanded the lore of ghosts.
And I also don't think that Harry needed a love interest. They didn't all need to be so incestuous. They didn't all need to be together because they were characters.
No, I get that part, and
right.
I agree. But I feel like love interest, yes. Not out of the three of them or the three of their families, but they were growing up. They were teenagers.
Right,
so
but they all ended up married.
I know. I do think that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
I do. did it make more sense for Hermione to love Harry and Harry to love Hermione? Yes. I feel like that made more sense.
I didn't mind Hermione and Ron.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Oh.
I liked that.
Oh. But
yeah.
Wouldn't that be the most incestuous of all of it?
No.
No?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I meant incestuous in that all the main characters somehow ended up together.
Okay.
Like, all the characters, like, Harry could have just found somebody at, like, normal adult life would suggest that all of them would have broken up. Somebody could have stayed high school sweethearts, but all of them would have broken up and found love at, like, 27.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd also see it would be like, was it Speed 2, where it was like they had fallen in love because of this extreme event, and then once the threat of those events were gone, it was like, oh, we have nothing in common.
Exactly. And that epilogue in Deathly Hallows solidified things that I didn't think
well,
needed
I also
to
didn't
be
like
solidified.
the epilogue.
Didn't need to be there.
I know we're jumping around a lot, people.
Go ahead.
But the thing about the epilogue was the fact that, one, in the movie epilogue, they were all super ugly and basic.
They were awful.
But two, it was like they crammed everything. Like Harry named his son.
Right. They didn't need to do that.
It's like, I'm going to tease Addison for a second. So Addison Lee, who is a casual movie fan, one of the big things he does is...
He's a real film geek.
Yeah, it's one of his names.
Okay. I didn't know.
He loved Greek mythology, and he couldn't decide on one name. So he, like, listed off, like, I'm going to name my son Achilles, Athena, and he had, like, all these names, like 6 middle names. Or at one point it was like, I'm going to name my son... It was like Trunks, which was his favorite Dragon Ball Z character, Wayne for me, and then it was like, oh shoot. But he just would go on. Everything he was interested in had this long name, and that's like,
okay.
So Harry's son was Albus Severus Potter. And I was just like, let's just cram together all the most, like, you know. And I know he was naming them after people, but...
I know, but still.
So, your favorite was Prisoner of Azkaban. Mine was Chamber of Secrets. I thought the whole story was cool, and then it ultimately linked to the end story with the diary of Tom Riddle, which the reveal of Tom Riddle being Voldemort's younger self was crazy, and I loved it all. So the next question is, what was your least favorite book? And not that you hated it, but out of all of them, that wasn't your favorite.
Order of the Phoenix. Do you agree?
We just saved time. Yep, it was my least favorite too. And it introduced a character I liked.
And I'm going to swear here.
Okay.
Harry is a whiny bitch that entire book.
Yeah, no, I agree.
He's awful.
But as a
He's
boy,
awful to everybody.
15 years old is a rough age for a guy.
I understand, and I get that. But no. Like, you don't get to treat people the way he treats people in that book.
No, I agree. I
hated it.
And I don't think we have to go in depth about it because I just didn't like Harry.
Didn't like Harry in that book. Everybody else was fine, and it did. Yeah. The Order of the Phoenix is a really cool concept, and the fact that they now have a headquarters and that they're rebels, and that they're kind of living outside the Ministry, outside the law, and that the Ministry doesn't believe them. All of those concepts are awesome.
Yeah, where it was like, hey, we warned you about this first time.
Harry's voice is the worst, and because Harry's voice is telling the story, like. And I know, like, this was cheap, but when they changed voices in, what was that series called?
Not Transcendent.
No, Allegiant was the third book.
Yeah, Divergent.
When they changed voices in Allegiant, and when they did that, and they changed from Tris to 4. I would have really appreciated a change in voice.
Yeah.
Because Harry's voice sucked. And it was just not a good way to tell that story.
So I'm going to say something that you're going to make fun of me for.
Okay.
So when I read the Twilight series.
Okay.
The epilogue, they switched to Jacob's voice.
Right.
Which in that case was like, oh my goodness, why don't we just...
What a breath of fresh air.
Why don't we stay with this?
No,
don't send me back.
Bella's voice, man. Yeah. So dramatic.
It is Bella. Oh my god, we named our dog after...
You named your dog after a Twilight character.
I named my dog after Belle, and I thought Bella was just to change it.
It's fine.
Crud.
Continue on.
Okay.
I can't believe you just realized that today.
Yeah.
That's why everybody tried to convince you not to name her that.
Oh my goodness. I think I was just haters.
Nope.
Okay, well, I am disgusted.
Continue on.
Okay, continuing on. So, movie-wise,
Right.
They were all adaptations, and they all took out and butchered some of the movies and books. Which was your favorite book? Or, sorry, what's your favorite Harry Potter movie?
Goblet of Fire.
Okay. Really?
Yes.
Okay. Why?
Quidditch and tournaments and mermaids
Yeah.
and gillyweed and magic.
Yeah. And magic.
Magic.
Goblet
of Fire, hands down.
Okay.
It was the most impressive.
Yeah.
They did the most. It was magic for the sake of magic. And I think that Ralph Fiennes defined himself as Voldemort in that movie.
Yeah, no, I agree. And just
we
as a
really
great actor.
we really saw the villain. Yeah, Ralph Fiennes is a great actor. But we really saw that villain come out.
Yeah.
And they duel.
Yeah, that's the first time we actually see a duel.
Right.
So I would say, because this also led to, for some reason, when I imagined Voldemort, and this sounds weird, but I imagined him, yes, with the bald head and the flat face. Mm-hmm. But I saw him having, like, not the weird teeth that he does in the movie, but, like, sharper teeth and red eyes. But I also always saw him in a black suit, like a solid black suit.
Oh, not in a robe?
Not in a robe. I know I probably described him in a robe, but in my mind, it was always this dude in a black suit. And there was a scene, I think it was in the trailer of The Half-Blood Prince. No, of Order of the Phoenix, and Harry's having an hallucination. But he sees him in an all-black suit, and I thought, yes! But then he looked silly to me when he was just in his black robes, walking barefoot around like a homeless man. We've seen a lot of homeless people in Dayton, and he looks just like them.
No, he doesn't.
Flat-faced?
No, I don't think so. That's, you know what? That's not a kind thing to say.
So
people battling addiction are not to be made fun of.
You really had to.
Yeah, I really had to go there.
Okay,
yeah, I
thanks
took it that
a lot.
What I'm gonna say is that the slit nose was what sold me on Voldemort being really truly scary, not truly human, fighting to stay alive and be immortal.
Yeah.
Also, there's some like foul play going on in the Goblet of Fire because everybody's name gets thrown out, and then Harry's the fourth, and everybody hates him.
Yeah, everybody does.
Everybody does because they think he did something, and so Harry has been beloved and been coddled and been, I don't know, he's always had somebody around to take care of him, and this is the first time where he's like, I'm alone.
And in the movie, that was the Dumbledore, when he pulls him into that room, like checks him into a wall and says, "What did you do?"
Yeah, what the hell did you do? And I know we find out it's not his fault, but I mean, it's just also Cedric Diggory is a Hufflepuff.
Somehow Hufflepuff made it to the Goblet of Fire. But no, I also want to.
It makes me so happy.
I know, but I also want to say.
All of it.
So
go ahead. Oh, and then I think because we get a ball. The Goblet of Fire comes with a ball and new wizarding. Oh my God. Everything about the Goblet of Fire is such a better movie. Because we get other wizarding houses. And then we get Hermione being with...
And it does expand the world. Because we see other schools.
And I think of that Norwegian school. And I can't remember the name of it right now. But it's like where the hockey players would be.
Yeah.
And then the women's school, which is all beautiful women.
But they exclude the American school.
They didn't exclude them. They weren't part of the Triwizard Tournament.
Okay, I'm just saying. But so I think at this point is when my mom, we were getting older, and so we ended up buying the audiobooks, so books on tape, and it was read by Jim Dale. And for those of you who know, Jim Dale was the voice of Winnie the Pooh.
Well, what was your favorite movie?
I want to get there.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I just wanted to jump back to that Voldemort conversation. Because when he spoke, he had the best Hagrid voice. Oh, Harry. That's how I imagined Hagrid's voice. Two, when he talked as Voldemort, it wasn't the and then Harry. Instead, it was the hiss, and every word was on purpose. Whereas I felt like the Voldemort in the movie, which I loved. I mean, I like him. But he was it seemed goofy to me. But where in the book it was Like he just dragged it out to make a point. Anyway,
I never listened to an audiobook.
I know.
So I'm trying to imagine what you're getting at here, but I don't have that.
I mean,
So I apologize.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
I was trying to explain it and I did it poorly. But so my favorite movie, I think, is going to be the original, is The Sorcerer's Stone. Like you said, it was magic for magic's sake.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first time that we really had a movie or a book that was brought to life. And like, excuse me, I said, things look different. Things definitely look different.
It was the first time?
For me,
Okay.
that I saw that a book I read. I mean, we had done Willy Wonka, where my mom would read us the book, and then we saw the movie later on
Okay.
as kids. But this was the one where like I had the image in my head, and then some of it was different, but some of it was the same. Like for example, but it was because the book was smaller, was shorter, and you could fit more of it in. Like there was less that was taken out. So like the introduction of Nearly Headless Nick.
Yeah.
Was great.
Right.
The troll in the dungeon. Even because they cut out some of the final stuff that they find in the end of the game, or not end of the game.
I thought it was
I played
a game
the game too.
Well, I didn't play the game, but I thought of it as a game
Mm-hmm.
because they had to get through all of those puzzles.
But the wizard chess,
Mm-hmm.
the final one, I thought, and there was no CG in it. It
I
was
think
all
the best
practical.
part of that was that you didn't think of Ron as a non-selfish character.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always thought he was very selfish, and then you can always go back to that moment because he sacrificed himself so that they could go on because he knew he couldn't help him.
Because he didn't become a sidekick. Like
No.
I felt like they were all, even Hermione, who it was, she was a know-it-all, but she was trying to prove herself. It was just so smart, and I loved the characters, and I loved how innocent and how Daniel Radcliffe wasn't, like we said in the books, he became whiny. But before it was like his eyes were so wide because it was like wizard's chess, like,
right.
And it was a little game they fought, and then it was he flew a broom for the first time, and like when he talks about his Patronus in the third movie and book, he says what really best memory you have, and it was, I remember for me it was when he went up and his broom flew into his hand. It was just like, wow, this is happening. We're seeing it.
Right.
So for me, I have to say it was the Sorcerer's Stone.
Cool.
So I guess this brings me to your least favorite movie.
Least favorite movie? Deathly Hallows 1.
Wow, we are just going to agree on all our least favorite things. Yeah, I could not stand it.
It wasn't that I couldn't stand it. It was just... Well, and Deathly Hallows 2. I mean, I have to group them together.
Okay, that's fair.
Well, because at least I could see Deathly Hallows 1.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see Deathly Hallows 2. It's too dark.
And just to be fair, we watched Deathly Hallows Part 2 and 1 and 2 last night, and that was our big complaint, is that we had a light on in the room and you couldn't see anything.
It doesn't matter. It was like that in the theater too. Like I recall that very distinctly. Like it was just the filming was too dark.
Yeah. So just want to interrupt for a second. When the Part 2 came out in theaters,
yes,
we had seen every Harry Potter movie on opening night, first showing.
Right. Me
and
too.
It was the last one we didn't get tickets to. I was supposed to go pick them up, and I was late.
Failed to do so.
But my mom made a comment where it was like, and she flipped out, and it was, this isn't fair. I deserve to see it more. And that's how I am with movies now. Like that phrase of her saying, I've deserved this. Like, I followed this. I'm a bigger fan than anyone else.
Yeah.
And that has shaped the kind of person I am with movies now, because it's like, I deserve to see this because I'm a bigger fan than everyone else. Just something I had to say. We can carry on now. I just wanted to make that point.
What are we carrying on with?
Oh, I thought you were going to continue why you didn't like the 3 or the 2-parter.
Too much dialogue, not enough dialogue when needed, and just they didn't do the book justice.
Yeah. Well, I agree, and I also didn't really like the last book.
I didn't mind the last book.
But if we're talking about movies, I didn't like it either. I didn't like the choices they made. I thought there was a dancing scene that wasn't in it, and I actually kind of liked that. Like there were like bits and pieces I liked. I didn't like the final battle. I thought the death of Voldemort seemed anticlimactic. That was boring. I also felt like there was not enough backstory to Dumbledore to understand why he did anything. Even in the Half-Blood Prince, the that was one thing I wish we don't have enough time to go into everything we
Right.
wish we had, but the funeral for Dumbledore is something I felt like we needed.
Lacking. Right.
And so just my last point is that I just didn't like the last book because there was only bits that I liked and not enough that nothing stood out to me.
Right. So I grew up Catholic, which you know. And in some point during my senior year, we were doing Harry Potter was our theme for the year, and we had wrote a script, but then the Pope said that magic was bad and that the Harry Potter books were bad, and I don't know if you remember that happening.
I actually went to a mass where they told us
Right.
how bad it was.
So that happened, and that was kind of a big deal because it kind of said, I'm echoey all of a sudden.
Okay.
So the Pope said that, and then we didn't know what to do. And so we had to rewrite the script as magical creatures were biting us.
No, I'll explain. So what's happening is my computer is slowing down.
Okay.
So there's a delay. You're not
Okay.
echoing. You're just hearing yourself talk, and then there's a half-second delay.
Okay, thank you. So I felt like the 7th book really solidified Catholic values. So Harry Potter, all of a sudden, there were a lot of biblical numbers. So 7 Horcruxes, 7 is a sacred number. And then Harry Potter had to die and rise.
Oh, yeah.
So the 7th book did that, and I felt like it was contrived. And I didn't like that.
Oh.
Like, I felt like J.K. Rowling did that
On purpose. Okay.
And I may have been reaching. But
No, I don't think it's reaching. I mean, a lot of people felt that way. I mean, a lot of people didn't like it was kind of a slap in the face after it had become an issue, and people had pointed out they didn't like there was a big issue with the Catholic Church.
Right.
It seemed like that was her retaliation.
Right.
And she was kind of slapping them in the face.
And not it wasn't bad. It just...
It was blatant.
It was blatant. It was obvious.
Yeah. So last bit about when we go back to the movies and stuff like that. What was your favorite scene out of all 8 movies? Like, what was your favorite bit in Harry Potter, the franchise, the movie phenomenon?
I like when they become Dumbledore's army in the Room of Requirement. I really liked...
So, like, that montage of them training? Okay.
The whole... That the Room of Requirement exists was amazing to me. And then
it was the ex machina of Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah.
A world with magic.
A world with magic. And that there's a room where you can do whatever you need to do whenever you need to do it, and it will become what you need.
Yeah, but in a world of magic where they said, are you sure this could happen? Like,
right.
They didn't believe that this place could exist.
Right.
My favorite part, or my favorite like scene in the movie is it's when Harry gets Snape's tear. And Alan Rickman, you see him like walking up the stairs because at this point this wasn't in the book. We felt bad for Snape, but we didn't understand his motivations. But we knew his motivations. We didn't.
Hold on, which tear?
The tear that showed him when he found Lily's body.
So at the very end of Deathly Hallows 2.
Yes.
That was in the book. Because he has to go find the pensieve.
I know, but you don't. But what I'm saying is, Alan Rickman really made the scene for me because it was like he found the body, but it was the fact that you see Alan Rickman walking up the stairs. He sees James's body, doesn't do anything about it. He just walks over him. But it's the moment when he sees Lily's dead body and Snape falls, and it was this moment of like broken, like he crawled to her and held her, and it was sad, and I thought that was amazing because there was no audio. It was just music and Alan Rickman being an amazing actor.
Right. And then the kid.
And then Harry crying in the background.
No. There's a child actor.
Oh, that plays Snape.
Yeah, because they go through...
Yeah,
it's his whole childhood.
And it was him, like, with Lily. And I guess she would have, like, they were together all the time. And then she grew up and left him for the bad boy. Women suck. I know you smiled. You said, okay.
Women don't suck.
So we're done talking about the movies and the books for right now.
I thought we had more questions.
Oh, we do have other stuff to talk about. We're gonna step away from that. We're gonna talk about our own world of Harry Potter.
Okay, I don't know what that
Our own wizarding
means.
world. So you took a Harry Potter quiz.
Yes.
And so have I.
Yes.
So it said what house we would come in.
Yes.
Or go into.
Yes.
Did you ever mess around on the Harry Potter website when it first came out for the movie and you got to sit and they put you into houses? It was like
where
a virtual
the
game.
hat was like on your head.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, but you did Pottermore.
Yes.
Abbey Rymarczyk.
I've done all of them and I come out the same every time.
All right, so
I guess maybe I was a Ravenclaw once.
Yeah. So what house did you fall into, Miss Rymarczyk?
I'm a Hufflepuff.
Oh, that is not a surprise. So
I am absolutely a Hufflepuff.
the losers of the sea.
That is not true.
Okay,
or
so
fair.
a Hufflepuff
Yes, I am a Hufflepuff.
is
I'm a proud Hufflepuff.
Hufflepuffs value hard work, patience, justice, and loyalty. Their house mascot is a pitiful canary. Pitiful.
A pitiful what?
Is it badger?
It's a badger.
Pitiful badger.
Honey badgers don't give a shit about nothing.
And they roughly correspond with the element of earth. And
that is
the
correct.
founder was Helga Hufflepuff.
Yes.
I also took the quiz.
And don't give the fake answer. Give the real answer.
I'm easily a Gryffindor.
That is not true.
Okay. Well, I am a Slytherin.
That is correct.
Slytherin house values ambition, cunning, leadership, resourcefulness. Harry Potter originally was going to be a Slytherin.
No.
But he whined and
He
complained.
did not. Wait. He could go both ways.
So he's by house?
You get to choose. You may.
No, don't do this.
I have it tattooed on my arm.
Don't do this.
Yeah, no, I resonate very well with that. He chose. He made a choice.
And I guess...
He wasn't doomed.
Doomed?
He was not doomed to be one or the other. He got to choose.
Yeah.
And choices matter.
They do.
Yes.
So... But I fell into the house of Slytherin because of my cunningness and my leadership abilities and my resourcefulness.
Correct.
And apparently because, as my siblings would tell you, is because I'm the villain of our family.
I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't say it either. I think they're definitely worse. I think Addison's a time bomb and Andy's a sinister narcissist.
I think we should leave your siblings out of the podcast.
All right. Well, one of them is in the podcast, so...
Okay. Well, I am a Hufflepuff. Is Addison a Hufflepuff?
I believe Addison is a Hufflepuff. He wants to say he's a Ravenclaw, but I don't see him falling into the Ravenclaw.
I am closer to a Ravenclaw than he is.
Intelligence, creativity, learning, and wit.
Correct.
I do think that kind of falls on him, but yeah, I think Addison is more of a Hufflepuff.
I am a Hufflepuff.
Hufflepuff.
Proudly a Hufflepuff.
And Andy easily is a Slytherin as well.
Ravenclaw.
Andy?
Yeah, why not?
Andy would be a Slytherin as well.
Yeah, probably.
I'm trying to think of the only people. My mother would be a Gryffindor. I don't see her being anything else. Your dad would be a Slytherin.
Yes. He does not watch Harry Potter.
Oh, but your dad would be the guy who comes back to school and hangs out with the other Slytherins after he graduates.
No, he would not. He would not. He's too cool. He's too cool to come back. Aaron is a Gryffindor. Aaron is definitely a Gryffindor.
Really? I thought Aaron would have been a Ravenclaw.
No.
Really?
No.
So where does Mary fall in?
Mary is probably a Ravenclaw.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. I would say Mary's a Ravenclaw.
Mm-hmm.
But Aaron is a Gryffindor.
Okay. So with that, Harry Potter's signature spell is his Patronus, which he uses to fight the Dementors, which I thought they did a terrible job with in the movies. I think they looked stupid. But what would your Patronus be? And I don't want to talk about quizzes, but what would you personally have your...
Well, I liked it, though.
Your quiz result?
Because it was super rare.
Okay, what is it then?
So they were introduced in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Oh.
And my Patronus is an Ocony.
Uh-huh.
And Oconys fit the shape that is needed, that they have.
That's strangely
They
you.
fit the space that they have. So I feel like they take the shape and the need that is needed at the time. So I'm trying to think of a better way to say that. So they're helpers, they're doers.
Yeah.
They get done what needs to be done. But they can also be really big or really small depending on what is needed.
Yeah.
And I feel like that fits me very well.
It does.
And so it's not a regular animal, it's a magical creature. But I liked it.
No, that's
Accurate and apt.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Mine, which I would want,
Uh-huh.
based on how cool it would be. I would have really wanted mine to be a turtle.
I know. A sea turtle?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think it'd be cool. The image of it like swimming.
Mm-hmm.
That or a gorilla. And but in my mind right now, I'm seeing the effects from Legends of Tomorrow when Vixen becomes a gorilla, and you see like it smacks its chest and it just charges at things. That's what I could see. Unfortunately, when I took the quiz, I came out as a rabbit.
What's wrong with the rabbit?
It was just a rabbit. There was nothing interesting, no cool story about it. It basically gave it to me because like we don't know what else you'd get. So here's our stock
an interesting
animal.
Story?
No, it didn't give me an interesting story. It was just
You-
this is our stock image.
Oh,
So I was not.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I was not.
I got a
happy about it.
super rare one, the
Yeah, you did.
Ocony. Mm-hmm.
So in Harry Potter, there were classes they had to take. What class do you think you would have specialized in?
Herbology.
Wow, how did I know you were gonna say that?
Because I'm a Hufflepuff.
Yeah. Well.
I whispered that.
Yeah.
No, I think I would have done well in potions and herbology.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I would say, like I'll be honest, like most boys who are listening or watched the movie, it would be Defense Against the Dark Arts.
You would hope.
I think I would be very good at that.
Mm-hmm.
If not, I think it would be potions. I think I would be more precise, like wanting to be precise about things and be able to watch and see things that I create. What did Hagrid teach? It was
The magical beasts class.
I know that sound.
Magical creatures.
Yeah.
Something like that.
There was a better name for it, but yeah, that's what I would have probably would have specialized in. So that would have been me. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
What else do you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, we've kind of covered a ton of different things. I'm trying to see if there were any other of those quizzes that we had taken that were Harry Potter based. Here's one last thing. What character do you most relate to? You're gonna say Luna.
No.
Oh.
Not Luna.
Who would you most? Yeah.
Professor
Jenny.
McGonagall.
Because you both have glasses.
No.
Because you're both old.
No.
Because your hair.
No.
Because your personality.
No.
Then how?
She's very wise. And she's a teacher, and she's nurturing, and she cares, and she's competitive, but silently.
Can you toot your own horn in another mic, please?
No.
Okay.
I think Professor McGonagall is who I choose.
Mm-hmm.
You disagree?
No, I don't disagree. I think that's very spot on.
Thank you.
Being someone who knows you. I'm trying to think of who I would most relate to, and...
Lupin.
Really?
Yeah.
How?
You're very fatherly.
Oh.
You're very like, I need to give advice now to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're very Lupin-y.
Oh, Lupin-y.
Yeah. And once a month you turn into a wolf.
Wow. One of us does something. What? I was gonna say a monster.
You.
Okay, maybe it is me.
It's you.
I don't know who I would most resemble. Yeah, maybe it is Lupin. I'll take the compliment.
Lee Rollins.
Dean, the only
Dean?
other black guy in the series.
What's his name?
It was like Dean.
Lee something.
Yeah.
You said Lee, and then there's Dean Thomas.
Dean Thomas, and then Kingsley Shacklebolt.
Well, yeah.
The three black people.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it for our long Harry Potter talk. Ooh, excuse me. We have gone through some beer and some wine, and it's getting late. So we want to thank everyone for listening to this special episode of the Token Nerd Podcast about Harry Potter. For those of you who are listening, we are still currently giving away our, we have a special Hikari vinyl action figure.
Is it an Optimus Prime?
It is the Optimus. It's not an action figure, but yes, it is the Hikari vinyl figure of Optimus Prime, because recently the Transformers The Last Night came out, and based on reviews that I've seen and read, it's bad. It's really, really bad.
Was there one that wasn't?
I would say the first one wasn't bad. I think I enjoyed that one. But anyway, to get the terrible taste of...
I do really like Optimus Prime.
Okay, well, enter the contest.
It's pretty cool.
All you have to do to enter these contests, and it's easy because we're having this contest until Friday at 5 o'clock. All you have to do is like the post. You have to like Token Nerd.
You've already gone beyond my technology abilities.
Well, then let me talk to the audience.
Okay, go ahead.
So you have to like Token Nerd, like Tenacious Toys, which is our sponsor who donated this to us. You have to share the post, retweet, or reblog. I don't think I'm...
Blog?
Or repost.
Repost.
Okay, maybe okay. And then you have to use the hashtag Token Prime. That way we can find you, we can enter you into our contest. Because once you get that, we'll ship it to you for free, and you get this limited edition figure because there's only 2,000 of these out there. No more, no less. So, with that being said, you can go onto our...
Does he turn into a truck?
No, he does not change into anything. But you can find this on our Instagram, which is token_nerd, our Twitter, token_nerd, and our Facebook page, which is tokennerd00. And we'll be giving away, we have a ton of other things that we're going to give away throughout the year. And we also have some special Token Nerd gear that goes into the box shipments. So
the stickers,
and we have shirts. And so that was going to be a surprise, but thanks a lot.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. So yeah, there's stuff like that. All you have to do is enter, and it's free. Very simple. And yeah, we post stuff all the time. We end up going through all of the Funko stuff. Funko posts on their blog, and then we write about it and put videos and pictures up that we see. So you can check that out. And with that being said, I'm Anthony.
And I'm Abby.
Stay spicy, my friends. What, you don't like to stay spicy?
I don't know how I feel about it.
It's the best thing ever.
Why?
Because
you're very silly. All right, goodbye.
Hey everyone, this is Travis Likens from Token Nerd Podcast, and I'm here today to tell you something about sponsorship. That's right, Token Nerd now has a sponsor. The fine folks at TenaciousToys.com, your source for designer toys, pop vinyl, original art, and more, are now our sponsor. And guess what? As a part of that, you can get 10% off your next order at TenaciousToys.com by entering the code TOKEN10 at checkout. That's right, 10% off. And not only are they giving you this code, they're also going to be sponsoring many of our Token Nerd giveaways in the next coming months. So make sure to follow us at token_nerd on Instagram to catch our latest giveaways.